The Honourable Member for Kuwait-Nook.
Thank you. In 2016, I shared with this House the fact that my niece and nephew, while in CFS care, were confined to their room. They were not allowed to go play outside. Their foster parents couldn't be bothered to let them breathe in the fresh air or let them feel the grass between their toes. With the recent news exposing the for-profit business BNL and their failure to keep our kids safe, what resources has this minister deployed to ensure we do not have broken adults out of CFS-induced abused children?
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. This government has invested close to $300 million more in families for vulnerable Manitobans. We think that's an important investment, but money isn't everything with the CFS system. We know under the former NDP government, the results that they had in terms of the amount of children in care grew with the exponential amount of money that's there. This government is doing comprehensive reform to reform the child welfare system to ensure vulnerable Manitobans are protected.
The Honourable Member for Kuwait-Nook on a supplementary question.
Thank you. In 2016, I shared with this House the fact that my niece and nephew, while in CFS care, were confined to their room. I want that to stick. The mother wasn't made aware of her rights. My niece was not informed of her rights. And the children, she didn't know she could use the children's advocate until she was 9. So for far too long, she and her little brother had to endure needless suffering. They were not fed properly, and they could only watch from their window the other children playing outside. Can the minister tell us if the department has become more diligent in where our children are placed? Will this ministry allow for the foster parents' applications to be vetted through the Assembly of Manitoba's Chief Family Advocate Office?
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for sharing the story in the CFS system. We hear this far too often, and that is why, as our government is taking strong steps, what I would suggest is that we need to have more children staying with their families. We need to do everything possible to ensure early intervention and prevention so we can ensure families are reunited. We have made substantial gains in the CFS system for the first time in over 15 years. There's less children in care, and there's more families being reunited. We think that's a positive step, but by all means, there's much, much more work that needs to be done on the CFS system to ensure vulnerable Manitobans are supported.
The Honourable Member for Kuwait-Nook on a final supplementary.
Thank you. We see yet another heartbreaking story of a foster dad who was charged with sexual assault of 2 boys. Those little boys were in his care for over 5 years. From another article, and I quote, "The province says Winnipeg CFS staff who approve licenses do not visit every home on an annual basis." My question to the minister is how many more cases have to be brought to light before the department realizes it is their job to visit every home so that we have better outcomes for our children?
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and I did refer the matter, or talk about the matter, that Deputy Minister Rogers is reviewing the case that was referred to under BNL. I can't speak of the specifics in terms of the case because it is before the courts, and Anchor does currently still have an investigation that is ongoing. I can say globally we want to protect children. We want to make sure vulnerable children are supported as best we can, and that's why our government has really taken strong steps to reform the CFS system. We know that there's far too many children in care, and we need to be supporting children, whether it be early intervention and prevention, to prevent them from coming into care to ensure families stay together, Madam Speaker.